Welcome to the Client Track Reports video. In this video, we're going to be looking at the Advanced Time and Billing Reports. In this menu, there are a variety of different reports that have been added to the program that you can use for various different reports concerning your time and billing section in the program. There's a variety of different sections and different information that you'll be able to get from these reports as you go through them, as well as different grouping within these reports. For example, if we take a look at the sales revenue reports and we click on Next here at the bottom, we're going to see that there's different options that we can select to get a variety of different types of grouping information out of the reports that are now in the system, versus some of the older reports where they were not quite as customizable. In the sales revenue reports, these reports break down for any given period of time a list of clients and shows you how much you have billed in WIP, how much you've then invoiced, your taxes, and the resulting markup, markdown, what is the difference between your WIP and the total invoice subtotal. The last column also shows the payments collected from the client in the time period specified. So let's have a look at this report. Right now we're going to go with no grouping and not any other specifications. Then we're going to choose to have a look at our business clients. And then we're going to choose the date range. So let's take a look at the most recent date range here of the last 2 months worth of time. As you can see, this report is generating basically the information that we just listed. So there's your WIP amount, your subtotals, your taxes, your total amounts, and any markup or markdowns that have been within that time period. Now in this example, there were no taxes that were laid on the invoices that were created because there were none chosen at the time that these invoices were created. So this is why you're seeing a zero amount. Now let's have a look at another report. So again, we're going to go back to the report menu at the top, and in here click on Advanced Time and Billing Reports to pull this menu back up again. In our AR summary reports, these are two different reports that allow you to see the age summary of both the time that's been added to the system as well as the invoices that have been listed in your system. The AR summary report provides information on a summary of all AR transactions that you have done for each client within a certain time period. This report shows the total amount invoiced and total taxes charged, the total payments received, and the markup and down applied by the invoicing. So let's have a look at the age summary here. Once again, we're just going to go with no grouping options. And again, we're going to select our business clients, and then finally our date range. So again, let's just stick with the same time period. So as you can see, this is going to show that these invoices that are listed in the system here that have been recently created within 0 to 30 days. So these invoices are fresh. Now if we'd had some other invoices that were longer or more outstanding, then we would have items listed between the 31, the 61, the 91, and the 121 plus. So let's actually go back into the report, recreate the same thing, and then this time let's do all date ranges so we can see a few different invoices. Now when we get in here, we have items listed in the 0 to 30, and then we also have items listed in the 121 plus with our total outstanding amounts. This report is useful for seeing an overview of how much you have invoiced and collected for each client in a quick glance. This report can be grouped by different firms, partners, managers, or produced for specific firms, partners, and managers. The aging report provides information on the aging of a customer's invoices as of a certain date. This report is useful for analyzing receivables on a customer credit worthiness and for forecasting collection of customer payments. It also guides management on collection efforts and helps to ensure that customers pay on time. This report can be grouped by different firms, partners, managers, or produced for specific firms and also specific partners and managers as well. The timesheet reports showing the actual time recorded and billable time. Let's have a look at the daily reports. What we're going to do is we're going to group this by employees, and then we're going to show a certain time period of the week here that we'd like to see. Now effectively what you want to do, and this should be the default number, is list at a 7.5, unless of course you are looking at an 8-hour workday because you are paying your employees for the entire day. Otherwise, you may put 7.5 because they would be removed for a half hour within their lunch period. And then we're also going to pick the date range here that we want to see. And then finally pull up this report. Now you can see we have quite a bit of time here because this is showing all the different days and times that this one user has added this information in. And as we go to the next page, we're also going to see, just back up at the top here, a total for this information in the program. So to describe what these columns are about, we have the starting and ending times, the total time spent within that day, the billable time, and then the percentage that's billable. So effectively, if you're putting time in the program that you're listing as not billable, then this will show a percentage as to how effective your billing is being. So if I was to put in 5 time entries at an hour each of that day, and one of those time entries was not billable, my effective percentage would be 90% because one of those hours that I worked would be unbillable time. The extra hours shows within that day, did you gain or possibly owe back to the company that you're with for the amount of time that you spent working in that day. So then you'll get a total of that as well, and that way you can see whether or not you've gained or lost depending. So in this case, this user is actually behind by 149 hours within the time period given. Now as we scroll down here throughout the rest of the reports, the WIP aged summary reports show you basically a summarization of all available WIP given within a certain time period, and again can be grouped by various different things in the system. So if we just have a quick look at the grouping here, we can see once again we can go no grouping by partner, manager, partners and managers, or specific types of items in the system. And basically all these reports have that type of grouping available to you when you go ahead and run these reports. Lastly, our productivity reports that we have listed in here are to show you how effective some of your users are being in the office. You can run this report and show all of your users in the same report. You can also group it by a specific user if you'd like, and again by partners and managers, so you can see basically how much money that particular employee is making for you within a certain time period. So let's say we just have a look at everybody here with no grouping, and we give a date range of the last several months. So when we call up this report, we can actually see this is a summarization of all of the hours for all employees within this time period. That's because there wasn't any grouping in this case. Now, like I said, we can group it by the employees so we can show the differences. In this case, there's only one employee listed within the time period that's been chosen. But if we go back, let's have a look at the realization report. This is the report here that actually shows you how effective those employees are being for you as an office. So when we say group it by employees, what we're going to do is we're effectively going to get a report here that shows us how much or how well these different users are doing in the system. Now once again, there's really only one main user in the program, so we're only going to get one line broken down here. But effectively what we're seeing here is the effective billed amount. So based on the total time, the billable time, the percentage in which that it is billable, any sort of write-offs, total billed amount, any sort of markups or markdowns, the effective billed amount for this particular user is in this case $91.25. Now obviously your numbers may be not quite so even like mine are, but these numbers are going to provide you with a lot more insight and realization for how effective your employees are being. So once again, if we just look back at the other one here, the productivity report, let's go grouping by employees. And let's just give everything available here in the system. So we can see that we have actually several different employees in this case for this time period that we've chosen. And what we're seeing here is that this employee is effectively earning $213.60 per hour, whereas the other two here don't have a whole lot of time invested into the software, so they're actually effectively earning at zero. And then our total with our plus and minuses above all of these users is $212.70. So feel free to play around with these reports. you'll find them once again in the reports menu at the top of the software under Advanced Time and Billing Reports. And then once again, choose the type of report you're looking for and whether or not you want to select any type of grouping past that. Also, one last thing, any type of report that you do create in the system, you can effectively have that added to an Excel file if you prefer. So you'll notice here at the very top, there's always an export to Excel, and that's available in all of the reports in the program. So anytime you want to pop this into Excel, in case you want to do any of your own extra calculations, you certainly have that available to you in the program. If you have any further questions or concerns about these reports, you can certainly send an email to support@clienttrack.ca, and you can also give us a call at our toll-free 866-423-8525. Thanks very much for having a look at our reports video. We hope that it gives you some insight as to the new features that we've added to the program. If you need further assistance with these reports, please feel free to contact us.